Brooke here from Clear Creek. It's winter time and we're either going into kidding season or you might have already started kidding, and we're just going to do a little tutorial on essentials that you need to have on hand during kidding season. First off, we're going to start off with some common sense stuff like towels. When it's really cold out, in the teens, negative temperatures, you can't rely on mom to do all the drying because she does it too slow, especially in the ears. The frostbite happens really quickly on the head if you don't get it dried off with a towel. Paper towels also help to dry off like the nose, get all the gunk and stuff out of the nose. Another good thing to have on hand is Lamb and Kid Colostrum Oral Gel. This is not replacer. This is just to give them a boost. If you do have to have say mom dies or she rejects a kid and she doesn't have any milk and you have to bottle feed, this right here, Save a Lamb or Save a Kid Colostrum replacer is really good to use. We also give all of our kids at birth 10th cc of Draxxin. It helps with like in utero infections like a joint ill, and we've also had no cases of scours when we've done that. And these right here, these little diabetes syringes are really good for giving newborn kids vaccines. Let's talk about some meds that are really good to have on hand during kitty season. We'll start off with thiamine. Goats love their B vitamins. They need them in order to process food correctly. So a lot of times when they kid and they have a really bad kidding process, it's good to give them some thiamine afterwards. If you don't have thiamine, B vitamin will work and B complex will work in a pinch, although you have to give them more of that because it's not as concentrated as thiamine. Another good one to have on hand is Udder, which will induce a doe if she's having like toxemia issues. And the Dex. The Lute and the Dex are what you want to use together to induce the doe. You give the Dex first and then the Lute. And then if she's having issues with contractions or she just doesn't want to push, oxytocin is another really good one to have on hand. Also, if your doe comes down with an infection afterwards, LA 200, which is an over-the-counter med, you can buy that at any farm store, is another really good one to have on hand. And Bosi. Bosi is basically straight selenium. So if you have a kid with weak joints or tendons and they're having a hard time standing or just weak in general, give them a little bit of Bosi. If you don't have Bosi, vitamin E capsules, the 1000 I use, will work in a pinch. Banamine, I know our vet makes a Banamine paste, which I absolutely love because I don't like giving them the regular Banamine. But if your vet doesn't do this, the regular Banamine, it's a clear liquid, kind of like the Lute. And then make sure you get yourself a 60 cc syringe, which is really good for drenching. Make sure you have on hand the 3 cc syringe. Whoops, this is the 6. This is the 3. And then the best needles to use are the 20 gauge, 3/4 inch. See if I can get it out. These ones right here, these are the best kind to use. There's all kinds of different syringes, but we found this is the best kind to use. Calcium drench, if your doe is getting a little ketosis and it's getting a little kind of after she kids and she's weak. This is a good one. Another good one is Drench, which I don't have here. You can also use Electrolytes Plus in the water. We like to go in the house and get a bucket of warm water and put this in after they kid, and they'll drink like the whole bucket of water. Another good one to use is Dyne. This will also give your doe a pickup after she kids. And if you have a doe that's getting congested udder, you know, because their udders just fill up so fast after they kid. What I like to do is I like to use peppermint essential oil with this Hawaiian moon aloe, and I mix them together and rub it on the udder, and it works awesome for congested udders. I mean, they basically just soften right up. Or you can use this mint udder cream, that works too. Okay, a couple other good things to have in your kit is a thermometer. Obviously, you do this rectally, so in case your doe is acting a little off, you can take your temperature before you give her anything. Another good thing to have if you have some kids that just aren't there and they just can't nurse is a stomach feeding kit, a tube kit. I personally like to do it with the syringe. The tube scares me, so I don't use it all that much. But it's a very, very good tool to have. And another thing, we used to use these all the time. We don't so much anymore. But if it's super cold outside, this is another real good thing to have. It's a kid coat. A friend of ours makes these, and it just slips over the kid's head, and their front feet go through the holes, and their head goes through here, and it keeps them warm, and they can still obviously poop and pee. So these are really good things to have, and they're machine washable, so they're not always stay gunky. All right, I am going to just throw it out there. I am not a licensed veterinarian. If you have any questions about procedures, dosages, medications, please contact your personal licensed veterinarian. I'm not one. I'm just telling you what's worked for us, and we go through our vet for everything. There is a couple things I do want to talk about. The BOCI is very easy to overdose, very easy. So if you are in a selenium-rich state, you probably don't need this, but since we're in Michigan and we have very poor selenium soil, we do. We don't use it on every kid, only the ones that need it. Oxytocin. If you aren't familiar with it, I would pretty much just go to your vet and have him come out and do it, him or her come out and do it, because if you give this to the wrong animal, it's not pretty. Like if you have an animal that won't dilate, do not give them oxytocin, because then you're going to be in trouble. The lute, the dex, the thiamine, and the Draxin is all vet script, so you have to go through your vet to get them. You cannot buy these over the counter. And the Draxin is very expensive, so our vet is kind enough to let us buy 10 cc's at a time. I don't know if every vet will do that, but we love Draxin. It's just super expensive. The other one that's vet script is also the Banamine. You cannot buy this over the counter either. So I just want to throw that out there. I'm not a licensed veterinarian. If you have any questions, please contact your vet. One more thing I want to talk about is deworming. We deworm every doe that kids at least 48 hours after she kids. I know a lot of people don't do that, but it is really essential, because when a doe kids, it like activates all those worm eggs and they all hatch, and she's just gonna get all kinds of worms in there, and she's not gonna feel good. She's not gonna make adequate milk supply. It's just not a good thing. We use Cydectin. This is also a vet script, so make sure that you talk to your vet about good dewormers. The only one that's really, besides the white paste dewormers that you use for like horses, the only other wormer that you could use for goats is Ivermectin, but it's so resistant. Worms are so resistant to it anymore that it's not very effective. So we have changed to Cydectin, and like I said, if you have any questions about that, make sure you contact your vet. Thank you for listening to my little kidding kit spiel. I hope you got some tips on this and maybe some ideas that you're not, that you can take home for yourself and use on your own goats. Anything here that you can get on Amazon, we'll leave links at the bottom of the video. So thank you all for watching, and Merry Christmas and Happy New Year!